We're going to try to do one from the Laws of Moses or Joshua or Judges. Laws of Moses, Leviticus 6, sins requiring a guilt offering, further instructions for the burnt offering, further instructions for the grain offering, procedures for the ordination offering, and further instructions for the sin offering. These are instructions for the priests in the temple upon the return, once our God gets here, and we start doing the altar again, which is the food for God. The only thing that's supposed to be absent from the laws of Moses and forfeit is sin offerings, because Jesus took all of our sin by dying on the cross for us. The only thing we will not do on the altar is sin offerings. Everything else on the altar and on the laws of Moses we will do. Also, these are instructions on how we will be in heaven. If you sin in heaven, you will be put into hell. A one-way ticket. As angels, we will hold each other accountable. We will know each other's thoughts. Leviticus 6, sins requiring a guilt offering. Then the Lord said to Moses, suppose one of you sins against your associate and is unfaithful to the Lord. Suppose you cheat in a deal involving a security deposit, or you steal it or commit fraud, or you find lost property and lie about it, or you lie while swearing to tell the truth, or you commit any other such sin. If you have sinned in any of these ways, you are guilty. You must give back whatever you stole, or the money you took by extortion, or the security deposit, or the lost property you found, or anything obtained by swearing falsely. You must make restitution by paying the full price, plus an additional 20% to the person you have harmed. On the same day, you must present a guilt offering. As a guilt offering to the Lord, you must bring to the priest your own ram with no defects, or you may buy one of equal value. Through this process, the priest will purify you before the Lord, making you right with him. You will be forgiven for any of these sins you have committed. Further instructions for the burnt offering. Then the Lord said to Moses, give Aaron and his sons the following instructions regarding the burnt offering. The burnt offering must be left on top of the altar until the next morning. The fire on the altar must be kept burning all night. In the morning, after the priest on duty has put on his official linen clothing and linen undergarments, he must clean out the ashes of the burnt offering and put them beside the altar. Then he must take off these garments, change back into his regular clothes, and carry the ashes outside the camp to a place that is ceremonially clean. Meanwhile, the fire on the altar must be kept burning. It must never go out. Each morning, the priest will add fresh wood to the fire and arrange the burnt offering on it. He will then burn the fat of the peace offerings on it. Remember, the fire must be kept burning on the altar at all times. It must never go out. Further instructions for the grain offering. These are the instructions regarding the grain offering. Aaron's sons must present this offering to the Lord in front of the altar. The priest on duty will take from the grain offering a handful of choice flour moistened with olive oil, together with all the frankincense. He will burn this representative portion on the altar as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Aaron and his sons may eat the rest of the flour, but it must be baked without yeast and eaten in a sacred place within the courtyard of the tabernacle. Remember, it must never be prepared with yeast. I have given it to the priest as their share of the special gifts presented to me. Like the sin offering and the guilt offering, it is most holy. Any of Aaron's male descendants may eat from the special gifts presented to the Lord. This is their permanent right from generation to generation. Anyone or anything that touches these offerings will become holy. Procedures for the ordination offering. Then the Lord said to Moses, on the day Aaron and his sons are anointed, they must present to the Lord the standard grain offering of 2 quarts of choice flour, half to be offered in the morning and half to be offered in the evening. It must be carefully mixed with olive oil and cooked on a griddle. Then slice this grain offering and present it as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. In each generation, the high priest who succeeds Aaron must prepare the same offering. It belongs to the Lord and must be burned up completely. This is a permanent law. All such grain offerings of a priest must be burned up entirely, none of it may be eaten. Further instructions for the sin offering. Then the Lord said to Moses, give Aaron and his sons the following instructions regarding the sin offering. The animal given as an offering for sin is a most holy offering, and it must be slaughtered in the Lord's presence at the place where the burnt offerings are slaughtered. The priest who offers the sacrifice as a sin offering must eat his portion in a sacred place within the courtyard of the tabernacle. Anyone or anything that touches the sacrificial meat will become holy. If any of the sacrificial blood splatters on a person's clothing, the soiled garment must be washed in a sacred place. If a clay pot is used to boil the sacrificial meat, it must then be broken. If a bronze pot is used, it must be scoured and thoroughly rinsed with water. Any meal from a priest's family may eat from this offering. It is most holy, but the offering for sin may not be eaten if its blood was brought into the tabernacle as an offering for purification in the holy place. It must be completely burned with fire. Now, there's a lot of things that I could get into with these, but I'm not going to right now because if I continue to talk and let you know everything, then I wouldn't be too happy about letting you know everything yet. So, but it is going to be how I see it. There's a lot of things in here. Like, okay, for instance, I'll talk about one of them, or two of them. I'll talk about two of them. Okay, the priest of Aaron's descendants. We're all mixed on this earth from the descendants. Okay, from the tribes of Israel. That makes us all heirs and priests of the heavens thrones. Okay, we're all kings and queens on this planet as I speak. Those of us that aren't going to be burned up and put into hell for the denying of Jesus and the denial of God. Okay, with that said, the other part of this is that when they return and judgment is upon us and the angels are upon us and we see the slaughter happening on the earth from God and the armies of the north, which is the heavens and the angels. Okay, we're about to wipe out. They're going to wipe out all the evil off the face of the earth, basically making a giant purification of the surface of the earth. We're going to put all the evil into hell all at once, which I believe is demons walking the earth, causing us our evil. 98% of it. The other 2% is our choice. Jesus' death is the main purification of the new temple that's going to be brought upon the earth. There's going to be a temple that's going to come down around Jerusalem. I know it talks about the destruction of Jerusalem when this temple comes down, but I don't believe that we're going to destroy the New Jerusalem. So, with that said, there's a lot of things that are written that aren't going to be, and there's a lot of things that are written that are going to be. I don't think God would wipe off the face of the planet Jerusalem as we speak the way it is right now. I believe that from the things I'm seeing on the internet and things that I'm understanding, I think they're pulling together very well in the Middle East the best that they can with the holy city. And as far as rebuilding, one of the temple structures that I saw. Hope one day I get to be there and see it soon in Egypt in the pyramids. Um, but yeah, we're about to purify the whole surface of the earth, putting everything into hell. We're gonna lock the hell for 1,000 years, then we're gonna march on the hells. That's another part of that's not written in the Bible. We will march on the hells, and if my math is right, it'll be more than 1,000 years. It'll be up between 6,000 and 10,000 years, with the blessing that I've continued to do over the last 7 years by reading the Bible and blessing everything as I go. And with the help of everybody else and the churches and the people and the believers and pulling together with love out of from our Jesus and our God and our heavens. Um, uh, with the destruction of the earth, I believe there's an angel standing next to everybody right now that is going to be saved from the fires of God when the angels come. The armies. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.